Hello everyone, Queenie, Daxie, Fawn. This is only a small part of the new characters that may appear in the new episode in a major or minor role. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the new characters who may be playing a key or minor role in the next episode. You should believe that it will be very exciting. Since we don't know yet what awaits us in the new episode, I decided to collect some of the best theories about potential new characters. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like it, and leave a comment. And so, let's start. Let's remember the first character I want to talk about, Queenie. You may have seen her in the mysterious door, but I want to share her story, which may unfold in the second episode. Let's talk about her present and find out what happened to her in the past, and then consider her role in the new story. Of course, I will take responsibility to talk about each character, and Queenie is no exception here. As some of you may know, she is the wife of Kinger, who appeared at the circus with our crazy old man when we met our crazy old man. However, since it was a long time ago, I'm sure many of you have forgotten about it and would like to remember it. In the digital circus, Kinger has spent about 20 years of his life, most of which he lived alone. This circus was home to many kings and queens who were among the first inhabitants of this world. Due to the limited number of characters in the digital circus at that time, Kane focused specifically on them. If you find yourself in the spotlight of Kane, your mental state will be in great doubt. Of course, Cosmo soon showed us that Kane is not who he wants to appear to be, and the distortion and harmony at the end of the last episode only confirm this. Kane, who created this secret room, clearly has knowledge of the weaknesses of each inhabitant and does not hesitate to use them for his own selfish purposes to drive them to madness. Queenie, the first woman in the digital circus, was the center of Aang's attention, and he didn't pay attention to the other girls. Therefore, the first years of working at digital circus were magical for her. She got everything she wanted. This fact makes you think about Kane's motives and what other secrets he hides. Our Queenie eventually realized the true nature of what was happening, which greatly upset our administrator. She began to view Kane as a villain, which annoyed him very much. Although Queenie didn't give him any reason to think about their relationship, she believed that each character had the same life. Kinder also noticed all the attention paid to his wife, and at first rudely suggested that Kane stop it. And at the moment when Queenie directly stated that there could be nothing between them and Kane, at the very beginning, a real digital disaster occurred, which entailed terrible consequences. Every day, Kane sent mannequins to Kinder, Queenie, and several other people. He did not feed them, did not give them the opportunity to rest, and also left the lights on in their rooms. After a while, all these things began to seriously affect our mental state and drive our thoughts crazy. But at first it wasn't so noticeable, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. This situation lasted for about 8 years, which caused a complete breakdown of Kinger. And Queenie, given her unstable emotional background, was especially in a terrible state. In an artificial room with no exit, with a single bed and dim lighting, Queenie found herself among other participants in the digital circus. This sad episode became a turning point in history when Kane, on the verge of insanity, made the final blow. Breaking in at night and stealing Queenie, he locked them in this room, where there was actually no door. This room was specially designed for mannequins, without any possibility of getting outside. The consequence of this terrible situation was the official announcement that Queenie had turned into an abstract monster. And although we know what happened to Kinder, she remained one of the unfortunate victims of this sinister game. Who knew about this? You just won't believe it. Miraculously, Queenie stayed in this very room. Passing by this room, Pomni, Dax, and Ragatha did not hear anything like this, and Queenie was joyful and screamed in the hope that they would hear her. But, as we learned from the first episode, our heroes just passed by. Now let's discuss the second episode, in which Queenie will lead Kane out and find a way out of her trap. When that happens, no one will be surprised. All the characters will be completely stunned and shocked by what is happening. After losing his wife, Kinder will eventually improve his mental state. This loss will be the main factor leading to changes in his life. After Queenie is able to get out and survive her journey, she will share what is happening with other characters, and their ordinary world will turn upside down. They realize that they are actually trapped in an amazing digital circus, and begin to transform somewhat into Cosmo. Now they are all obsessed with finding a way out so as not to repeat the fate of Queenie. But what will happen to Kane? What is happening shocks him, and his anger and aggression reach a new level. He will immediately reveal his true identity, and will no longer hide behind the mask of a kind administrator. His main target will be Queenie. Soon he will turn her into an abstract monster, and Queen's story in the digital circus will end like this. This will give the story great appeal and awaken the desire to get into the head of each character, despite the fact that her role in the new episode will be short. Unexpectedly for all of us, the main focus in the new episode will not be on our beloved Queenie, but on another character. Yes, you got it right, it's about Pon. I'm sure you've already guessed that he is the brother of our Pony. Interestingly, Pon was about 26-28 years old, a couple of years older than Pony, before she went to the digital circus. They have always been close friends, and so, at the moment when Pony was teleported to the digital circus, Pon was next to her. It happened so suddenly that he was shocked. Initially, he didn't even realize what had happened. At first, he thought what happened to his sister was some kind of new trick. However, as soon as this reality dawned on him, he immediately sought to understand how this could have happened. All his free time, he wore this damn headset to inherit the path to his sister and try to free her. And at that time, he had no idea that everything was actually happening. When he finally entered the digital circus, he immediately discovered Pony. Everyone started to remember Pony's dark state at the end of the first episode. Although to be honest, there was almost nothing left of that attractive and charming girl. Her mood instantly improved when she saw her brother, and they immediately began discussing ways to solve the problem. Pony told him about all these strange things she had seen during her short stay at the circus. And quite surprisingly, Pon immediately believed her and trusted her completely. Pompey also recalled her first day in the digital circus with fascinating details. Do you remember that conversation between Pony and Ragatha? In the beginning, Pony's hand was as strange as the rest of the Ragatha participants. The digital circus has generated doors labeled exit, which leads to thoughts that they may not be random. Pony was able to transfer her thoughts to the digital circus, and she has a special power that no one else has. She can compete with Kane. Ragatha said that Pony could be cured, and although Pony really wanted it, the glitches on her arm resume as soon as she stops thinking about it. As a result, Pony and Pon feel that she actually has a unique power. Perhaps the theories about the origin of the doors marked exit refer to the thoughts of Pony, transferred to the digital circus by accident. As an administrator, Pony proposed to create a special capsule that would not only keep their bodies in a normal state, but also provide protection from detection. However, unfortunately, no one believed in her plan, and they remain prisoners of the digital circus. While Pony and Pon will succeed and try to leave this hellish place, it would be very interesting to see a survival game, but only at the end of the first season, because at the beginning of the season no one can foresee the plot twist. Of course, such a surprise would destroy the interest of a wide audience, but nevertheless it would be incredibly exciting. Now let's talk about another character, Jax. I remember an interesting concept when Jax looked like Jax, but at the same time it was very feminine. For a long time, I thought that Jax was actually a girl, but eventually realized that it had nothing to do with reality. An additional theory appears, according to which Dax and Kinder did not appear in the digital circus alone, but came together with their halves. Remember how I mentioned that Jax, in fact, was not a bully when he first started his career in the digital circus. He was a very nice and humble guy, as was his girlfriend Jaxie. Their hidden determination has led to them becoming the objects of ridicule from other characters. And Jax was always afraid to answer them, because he was afraid to say a word. This situation was repeated every day. Every day, Jax and Jaxie suffered from violence violently committed against them by other members of the Iris the digital community. But one day Dax just got tired of it all. The love he felt was completely exhausted by these injustices. As a result of this state of mind, he turned into an abstract monster. That's why Dax was provoked into turning into the bully we see in the pilot episode. At first, he was crazy about those who destroyed his love. And then he just started enjoying such behavior. In fact, there are a huge number of different theories that will drive you crazy, and exactly the same number of characters. But unfortunately, this video will be limited to just these 3. But I promise you that in the near future, we will film the second part of this fascinating section. And also, I think we need to talk about the characters that are depicted on the doors, but unfortunately they are not shown to us in the pilot episode, but there is a huge chance that we will see them in the future.